Jonestown, the day faith turned into fear. The jungle was silent, until it wasn't. On November 18, 1978, in a remote corner of Guyana, more than 900 people prepared to die. Mothers held crying children. Armed guards stood watch. A man's voice echoed through loudspeakers, calm and commanding, telling his followers this was not death. It was liberation. Within hours, nearly an entire community would be wiped out. What the world would later call a mass suicide was, in reality, something far darker. Welcome to Life in Frames. Today's story is not just about a cult. It is about trust, manipulation, fear, and how one man's words led hundreds of innocent people, including children, into the final moments of their lives. Jim Jones did not begin as a monster. In the 1950s, he was a charismatic preacher in Indianapolis who spoke passionately against racism and inequality. At a time when segregation divided America, his church welcomed Black Americans and preached unity. To many, Jones felt like hope, a man who promised justice in a broken world. People trusted him. They followed him. They believed him. As his influence grew, Jones moved his congregation to Northern California, first to Ukiah and later to San Francisco. His political power increased, but so did disturbing rumors. Former members and journalists accused the People's Temple of financial exploitation, physical abuse, psychological control, and the mistreatment of children. Jones dismissed all criticism as lies. He claimed powerful enemies were conspiring to destroy him. Slowly, paranoia replaced compassion. Jones then offered his followers an escape. He told them America was corrupt, dangerous, and racist beyond repair. The solution, he said, was Guyana, a small South American nation where they could build a socialist paradise. Years earlier, a small group had already begun clearing jungle land. The settlement was named Jonestown. Hundreds followed Jones, believing they were choosing freedom. They had no idea they were walking into a prison. Life in Jonestown was brutal. Days were long and exhausting. Members worked in the fields under the scorching sun. Food was scarce. Medical care was limited. Questioning authority was punished publicly. Passports were taken away. Letters home were censored. People were encouraged to spy on one another. Jim Jones controlled everything: sleep, work, relationships, even thoughts. At night, exhausted residents were forced to attend hours-long meetings where Jones spoke of enemies closing in. He warned that the U.S. government would invade, torture them, and steal their children. To prepare, he staged mock suicide drills, rehearsals for death. He called them revolutionary acts. Over time, fear became normal. Escape felt impossible. Back in the United States, worried relatives began demanding answers. Their pressure reached U.S. Congressman Leo Ryan of California, who agreed to investigate Jonestown personally. On November 17, 1978, Ryan arrived with journalists and observers. At first, the visit seemed peaceful. Smiles were forced, performances were staged, but fear was written on people's faces. The next day, as Ryan prepared to leave, several residents secretly approached him. They begged for help escaping. Their quiet pleas shattered Jones's illusion of total control. One of Jones's lieutenants attacked Congressman Ryan with a knife, though he survived. But it was too late. As Ryan and his group boarded planes at a nearby airstrip, gunmen opened fire. Ryan and 4 others were murdered. Back at Jonestown, Jim Jones gathered everyone in the main pavilion. His voice came through the loudspeakers, calm and final. He told them enemies were coming, that there was no future, that death was the only answer. Armed guards surrounded the crowd. No one was allowed to leave. The children were killed first. Parents and nurses injected cyanide-laced poison into infants and toddlers using syringes. Older children screamed and resisted, but there was no escape. Then adults were ordered to drink the poison. Some obeyed in fear. Others resisted and were forced at gunpoint. Within minutes, bodies began to fall. By the end, 909 people were dead. Nearly one-third were children. When authorities arrived the next day, they found bodies covering the ground. Many were holding each other, frozen in their final moments. Jim Jones was found dead with a gunshot wound to the head. A small number survived. Some escaped into the jungle. Others were away from Jonestown at the time. One survivor was 12-year-old Tracy Parks. She fled into the jungle after hearing gunfire and later emerged, sick and traumatized, only to learn that 5 members of her family were gone. Decades later, survivors still say the same thing. This was not suicide. It was mass murder. Jonestown remains one of history's most chilling reminders of how charisma can become control, how belief can be twisted into obedience, and how fear can silence entire communities. It wasn't faith that killed them. It was manipulation, delivered through a voice they trusted until the very end. Thank you for watching Life in Frames. We bring you real crime stories and breaking news from around the world. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.